So what I mean, demonstrate, validate, verify, show it to be true and not just a made up
Okay, so
story. So
let me dive into this quite a bit, if you don't mind.
yeah,
So,
absolutely, go for it.
if, for example, demonstrate or a proof, if we're talking about mathematics, a proof in mathematics is something that is to the utmost level of certainty, because you use the definitions, you use mathematical objects that you define, and you use the definition of these objects then to derive theorems and lemmas. And when somebody requires a proof in mathematics, it's like a deductive proof, right? So this is analytical. Like as long as you manage and you're using words and objects that you define, and all the attributes of the object that you use in your demonstration are defined, then you can have some sort of certainty. But
Right.
it's analytical certainty. If you use something that you observe through your sensory experience, then uh, there's a problem there, because at what point do you have certainty, right? Because maybe your senses deceive you, so you have to lose this certainty criteria. You see what I mean?
Right.
So when you say we need to prove the globe,
Mm-hmm.
do you mean it in an analytical way, which means we define the globe as being a globe, and that's how we prove it, or do you mean it in an empirical way?
I just want it in an intellectually honest way. Okay, so what we've had presented to as evidence of the globe is not honest in any way. So that's what we're trying to challenge at the moment. So we're not making a claim as to what the Earth is.
Do you think that the arguments are made in bad faith?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not honest in any way because
Well, this is strange, because you're
half of the
attacking
claims, half of the claims here are not scientific. As you said, they're mathematic. It's just a made-up construct and can be played around and almost formulate anything where that person were to spend enough time doing so.
Wait, but you're going on a tangential, but I'm willing to follow you. So, are you saying that you think all the globers are you're attacking the intentions of the globers?
No, it's not your fault. It's just like the tools that you've been given to work with about this idea. So, that's why we demand, practicality. We already know that you've been given calculation, how to work out if it were this, then it would be that, and that would be the logic using this mathematical construct. But
Chemo,
unfortunately,
you realize you can
real
do it
world
yourself,
out
right?
there says differently when we try to use science.
No, it doesn't, Chemo. This is your imagination at work, Chemo.
If let's grant you that all the globers have somehow been indoctrinated, and they are using arguments in bad faith, even if they are not doing it willingly or consciously. Let's imagine that. What would be your criteria then to be able to discern people that are talking from indoctrination and people that are honest?
We've got to find out where do they get this knowledge and information from, right? So usually when we ask the
Okay.
globers, who told you that, where did you get it from, usually before all of this, usually we're told, well, this is what we were told at school when I was 5 years old.
They reference some kind of authority.
He said, this is what I was told when I was at school. Okay?
What
So
about
their entire
in my
belief,
discussion?
their entire
In my
belief is
discussion with
based
you,
on.
I reference my own observations, right? My first-person observation.
No, I'm just letting you know that that's how it. Yes. So from time to time, you'll get
Okay.
people like yourself who say, "Yeah, I've done something," and then we're like, "Well, what is that something?"
Yeah.
And then you're
So
like,
the criteria of looking for the reference authority doesn't work anymore. So what other criteria do you have then?
"Is to have as little assumption, if any, at all."
Occam's razor, right?
Right.
Yeah, that sounds okay. What else?
Now we can start there as a premise. Work with that first, and if we face any more hurdles that are more complex, more dynamic and need further investigation, then of course we can do so. So, what do you observe when you look out at the horizon? Do you observe curvature?
Well, this is the point where I would.
Let's
like,
not assume
would like
anything. No assumptions. No. What's the
I would-
first thing that you... So again, you're not being honest. This is what I mean. You're not being honest.
Timo, you got to stop talking
I'm
and let him
talking
respond
about-
for fuck's sake.
Point for you.
So
Talking about here, if we're
this
going
is
to
a
be
point-
honest,
this is the point where I would like you to be able to remember the 1 hour and a half conversation we already had. Wasn't so long ago. It was like 1 week ago.
I'm not
maybe
going to
2 weeks
remember
ago.
that. This is a constant ongoing thing. I speak to many. So
Yeah, but it's a kind of demotivating for me to if I have to go through it again.
well, it's unfortunate.
you-
Okay, again, speaking to the many. Okay, I'm not going to remember all. So you're going to have to either go over it.
Okay, do you remember the mirage thing?
Raj, okay.
Yeah, you remember?
What about it?
Mirage, the Schlieren effect that I messaged you personally, like a private message.
Okay, let me look.
Yeah, it's on my conversation with you.
Okay, yeah. See air currents. Yeah.
Yeah, the Schlieren effect. So all of this is demonstration of the refractive index of air.
Well, that's just showing air. Can't see how it moves, right? Showing us how it.
No, it's it's a phenomenon, an experiment that is used to measure or to show that
It's not
there
an
are variations.
experiment.
Say again?
It's not an experiment. It's just what you're doing here is just looking through a lens and gas. Or in a form. I don't know if it's true form, but it's in a
Yeah,
form.
you reveal some physical dimension of
So
the air.
look, before we get all over the place, this is
Attribute.
what I mean by globe earthers not being honest. So if we're going to start with the least amount of assumptions, we're going to go with what we observe. Okay, and I did say if it gets more complex after that, then yes, we can go there. But initially, what do we see when we look at the horizon?
Yes, that's the entire point. Like what you see when you look at the horizon is dependent on the refractive index of the different layers of atmosphere that the light rays go through before they reach your eye.
Do you ever see the horizon curve with the refractive index?
Curve transversely or longitudinally?
Left to right.
Left and right. We don't expect to see it curves
No, hold
how
on,
do you
hold on.
measure?
Whoa. Again, I thought we were going to do
Timo,
this.
stop interrupting. You're like,
thought
he
we
doesn't
were
get
gonna
two,
do- Reach, you
two
need to
words
stop
in,
doing
and he starts
this.
going, no.
You
You have to
doing
let him
this.
finish, dude.
Stop jumping
Just
in
let him
like
finish.
that.
Well, stop interrupting him.
Okay, so
Right. So
now I forgot my
how
point.
do you so are you familiar with the
Oh yes.
the image compression? Like they did this vertical compression of images to show that even if it's not apparent to our eye, there is actually a curve.
Okay,
Do you think it's just lensing effect?
I have no idea. I'm not
So
here to make
last
any
time we
claims.
spoke,
All I'm
last time
here. You said we can do this honestly, and
Yes.
with the least assumption. So
yes.
I asked you about the horizon, and you said we don't expect. And I'm thinking, what do you mean we don't expect? What?
Yeah,
do
I
you
can
see?
go into details if you want. So, are you familiar with the fovea?
No.
You know what it is? Okay, there's a part of the human retina that is more densely packed with cones, and you have a higher resolution, higher precision of in your visual field. You know, in your visual field, this is why you point your eyes towards an object if you want to watch it, because you don't have a precision, visual precision in the entire visual field. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that sounds interesting. But we're going to go with the least assumption. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an assumption. I'm appealing to an experience, to your own day-to-day experience, right? Fovea. Then you can observe the retina. You understand that there's more cones in there and less in the
So
rest
we're
of the
talking
retina.
about the shape of the Earth.
I'm coming to that. So if you look at the horizon, there's only a very little angular size in your field of vision where you will be able to adjudicate if there's a curve or not.
Again, I thought we were going to do no assumption.
Why are you interrupting?
That's not an assumption.
Yes, you
I
are.
thought we were going to do honest conversation.
Exactly. So we're going to do no assumptions. We're going to look
I'm
out at the
100%.
horizon and we see no curvature. Yeah?
I'm 100% honest here.
Okay, so
I'm trying
let's
to
try
make a
again.
point.
No assumptions. Go to the horizon. Look at the beach. Go to the
Chemo,
beach.
just stop being so obnoxious, dude.
We go to the beach. We look at the horizon.
Yes.
No curvature. Yeah?
What,
Or do we
what
see
do you
curvature?
expect to see? What do you expect to see?
Not about what I expect. I'm asking you, what do we see?
Yeah, but I don't. It doesn't make any sense. You see,
Why?
you see no curvature.
Yeah.
I don't expect to see a curvature when I go to the beach, so I don't even understand what you're referencing.
Because we're making the least assumption possible. We're going to start with what we see, what we observe. Yeah, and I said if beyond that it gets more technical, we can get into that. But as it stands, we go out, we see the horizon, see a flat horizontal horizon, right?
Where do you see it flat?
The horizon.
You see it flat in your fovea, right?
The horizontal.
part-
We don't see it curving. Let's not use the
You
word
s-
flat because obviously you flat with accusations. You just mean there's a horizontal line there, not curving.
So how do you compare? Like if you make the assertion that it's horizontal, it means that you measured it horizontal. How do you measure it horizontal?
No, so that's what we look at. We haven't made any measurements. We're just seeing that it looks horizontal.
Yeah, but that's what I was talking. That's why I was talking about fovea. Like you cannot measure a very large thing that is
We're not
across
making
your
measurements.
entire field of vision. Like you need some kind of tool.
Not
Just with
making
your eyes,
measurements.
it's not gonna. Say again.
We're not making measurements.
But with your
We're
like
going to
nobody
start with
measures.
agreeing. We're going to be honest. Go to the beach.
Yes,
We look
let's
at the
be honest.
horizon. Does it look
Kimo,
like it's
Kimo.
curving?
Chemo. And have you ever heard somebody measuring with their eyes?
I didn't
Do
say
you
we're
think
making
the
measurements. I
eyes
said
the eyes are a useful measuring tool? Eyes?
no, they're not. I didn't say
Okay,
that.
so
I
you use
said
tools.
we're not making measurements yet.
You use sextants. You use compass. You use rulers. You use tools to measure things, right?
Why are we measuring it? What do we think?
You are asking me when we go to the beach.
Yeah, why do we
see-
need tools though to measure? What are we thinking? Why do we need the tools in the first place?
Because eyes are deceiving. They're not
See, yeah, but I'm
accurate
saying, what do we
measuring
think
tools.
about that horizon?
Say again.
What are we thinking when we look at that horizon? Like, we need to get tools because something's wrong. What do we think?
I'm not following.
You're saying we need
Reformulate.
tools, get tools, and I'm thinking, well, why? What's on your mind?
What's
Why
on
do
my
we
mind
need
is that I
tools?
was deceived
Right, we're
by
at the
my eyes
beach.
before.
We're both looking at that horizon, and I'm like, oh, that's horizontal. And in your mind, you're saying what? What's on your mind? You don't see the horizontal?
In my mind, I say I've been deceived by my eyes before, so I'm not gonna trust my eyes. That's what in my
Well,
mind.
what does your eyes tell you though at this moment?
I'm not. I'm not following.
What
I
do
don't
your
care about
eyes
what
tell
my
you
eyes
when
are
we're at the
telling me.
beach and we look at the horizon? What do they tell you? Illusion or not? What does it tell you there at the horizon?
It tells me many things.
Like what?
Like it looks like there's the sky meeting the earth, or the water if it's at sea.
Looks like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Does that look curved or horizontal?
It's hard to see if I can't measure
Is
it.
the earth flat or a ball?
So you've never seen a horizon before.
Oh, many times.
What does it look like to you?
Like the horizontal, like the horizon.
Does it look horizontal or curved to you?
It can be both.
You've seen it where it looks curved.
It could be both horizontal and curved.
But what have you seen?
I've seen different things. Sometimes it's if it's like a storm, and the water is very agitated, then it's not horizontal. If it's a skyline of a city, it's not horizontal. If it's a mountain range, then that all of this is horizon, right?
Yeah, that horizontal line. I'm saying, have you ever seen that curved?
Curved in what way?
From left to right.
Curved compared to what tool?
No, just curved. Compared
what
to
optical
horizontal.
device? If you look at through a GoPro, then you have a lensing effect, so it will be curved, right? So
I don't know.
in
I'm
that
talking
case,
about when you saw the horizon. Did you see that horizon line curve, or was it horizontal?
It's curved if I look through it through a certain curving optical apparatus.
That may be the case.
Well,
but when you saw the
that.
horizon for the first time, second, third, fourth time, without equipment, did it look like it was curving that horizontal line?
If I apply mechanical pressure to my eye globe, right? I push on my eye, then it will bend the lines. So it's completely like doesn't. I don't care what my eyes see. My eyes are deceiving. It's the third time I make this point.
Yeah, but
you
we're
don't
just
seem to
going
be
with
understanding.
Arkham's razor here. We're starting off with the least assumptions, so we're just going with what we see. It may not be that, you're right, but we're going with what we first see.
I've gone one step further than you, right? So this is, I don't know, I was maybe like, I don't know, 7 years old when I discovered that all the optical
And this
illusions.
started off by being intellectually honest. And you
Yes.
still haven't
Kimo,
said.
why are you constantly interrupting?
You still haven't said what you see when you look at the horizon.
If you are intellectually honest, you will agree with me that your eyes are deceiving, that you should not follow.
We don't know that, do we yet? You're assuming it.
No. You don't have this experience? You don't have the personal experience of being deceived by your eyes?
When?
Ever?
Oh.
Of course he does.
Every optical illusions, if somebody can post something in the chat, all the optical illusions.
In nature.
You've seen illusions in nature.
Show me in nature.
Like mirage?
You've seen it.
Have you been to a barbecue, Kimo, in your life once?
Not about me.
Never a barbecue?
Not about me.
Say again?
It's not about me.
It's not about Kimo. Never is.
Look, let's get back to this. Let's get back to the horizon. It's not about me. It's about this horizon. Is this horizon?
The assumptions within our discussion, right? We want honest assumptions.
Yeah.
The least we can. I agree with that. But you also have to be honest about your personal experience. Have you been to a barbecue? Have you seen?
No, we're not talking about me. We're talking about the horizon.
I'm appealing to the assumptions surrounding our discussion, right?
But if you're if you're saying that when you look at the horizon, it's an illusion, we can go with that. But it looks like it's horizontal to you.
It depends.
So,
as I said, I don't know why you make me repeat myself.
So sometimes it looks curved when you go to the beach, the horizon, yeah?
Sometimes it's jagged, sometimes it's curved, sometimes the horizon is just where the furthest point you can see. If you're in the forest, the horizon is just... What? It's just.
Can you show whether you've ever seen a curved horizon?
Yes.
Let's have a look.
Any GoPro image of horizon that is curved by the lensing effect.
No, the Earth curve.
Yes, that's the Earth curve seen through the GoPro.
Not the lens curving or the Earth curving.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you don't use an inanimate tool to measure, then how can you know if it's the Earth that is curving or the tool that is curving the Earth? You're viewing your experience of the horizon is through your eyes. Right. Are your eyes reliable?
Yes.
No, they're not.
Well, yours may not be, but mine are. Yes.
No, yours aren't either.
You're not honest. You're being dishonest, Kimo.
Of course he is.
No, I'm saying that when I see the horizon, I see it and it's horizontal.
Kimo,
that's
dishonest.
Never. Are your eyes reliable, Kimo? You're the one who asked for an honest discussion.
Chemo, you disappeared.
Yeah, the same thing happened last time I spoke with him, but I don't know. Maybe he's busy.
He could be going for his cup of tea. We'll give him a few seconds to get back. But during the interim, we'll just, talk among ourselves.
Kyle, why is your background noise so loud?
My what, sorry?
Your background noise is hella loud.
Oh, I know. I was doing some on there.
Alright, where
You reminded me.
What's going on? It's not about me, Litania, right? It's about
It's about you if you're dishonest. If you're dishonest, it's about you.
There, innit?
What's the question?
If you say it's not about you, but it is. If you want to have a discussion, an honest discussion, then you have to be honest. Your honesty is about you.
Well, go on. What's the question?
Are your eyes reliable? Were you ever deceived by your eyes?
Only with not in nature, no.
Yeah, you have.
In nature, I've never been deceived. I can drive. I can ride a bike. I can skate. I can cross the road.
Right. So
lying,
when the
If our eyes deceived
horizon,
us, we wouldn't be able to drive cars, ride bikes, skate, walk down the street.
You can't guarantee reliability. You're crazy.
Our eyes deteriorate.
Tell me when your eyes have deceived you, Latinia.
when my eyes have seen what?
When have your eyes deceived you in nature?
Mirage.
When? Where? What did you see?
Oh, well, your bloody
Listen.
eyes, mate, but your hearing's getting bad,
Take me through, if you're being honest. What did you see? Where was it? What did you thought you saw? What happened?
Sure. So I mentioned mechanical pressure on the globe, the eye globe, right? Is that how you call it?
Eyeball.
Eyeball. Thanks. Yeah. So you take your finger and you make a mechanical pressure on your eyeball. You see all the lines are going to be curving, and the apparent location of the objects are going to change. So you're manipulating the tool through which you are experiencing through which you're having the visual experience of reality. So this is completely unreliable.
So this is with a tool, not in nature.
Say again?
This is not in nature with a tool.
It's still in nature, dude. Don't be
human. It's human nature, right? It's human nature. The human eyeball. Right? You push on the human eyeball, or you wear glasses. Like,
what are you talking about? We're talking about in nature. When have we seen the horizon
in nature
not be the horizon?
Yes, I'm talking about the human nature. Human nature is not nature.
He's talking about light being deflected from its path. You can do it by pressing your eye, or you can do it. It doesn't have to be in your eye. Any deflection on light's path are going to affect what you're seeing.
But
it doesn't have to be in your eye.
There's also illusions from the way the brain interprets a visual phenomena.
Right, a whole lot of assumptions here. Okay, so we go back to the beach.
I'm appealing to your experience.
Yeah, you're just telling me your opinion. Okay, there are no measurements here, no experiments here to test what you're saying. So we're going to go with what we see. And like I said, if it's more complex beyond that, then that's when we pull out the tools, we have the experiments, and we show the practical nature of what you're saying. Okay, so without those tools, okay, if we're 1,000 years ago, we look out, see the horizon, what do you think?
Yes.
Curve.
So I posted optical illusions. So
1,000 years ago,
have you been on a train?
1,000 years ago, when there were no trains, no technology, no all that stuff, and people saw the horizon, what did your ancestors think?
Right. Have you been running? Have you ever been running in your life?
Goodness.
Yes.
What do we see when we look at the horizon?
You're not granting me my point, and my point is not an assumption.
Because we're starting with the premise. The question was, what do we see when we look at the horizon?
Curve.
If you're being honest, you'll start at that point. You're going to be honest. You're going to start at that point and not go on to any other thing. Okay? No
Right.
technology. We're just
the
going to
thing
go
is,
out there with
Only
our
making a
able
counterpoint
bodies.
though,
Timo,
Timo.
We're going to look
Timo,
out.
Making a
May
counterpoint.
I
We're going to see the
answer?
horizon.
What do you, the question?
Timo,
The question, what do you
the
see when you look at the horizon? May I answer
No,
very
no
quickly? An
detours.
apparent thing. That's what you see. An apparent thing.
How is that an answer?
I've already honestly answered your question, Kimo. Kimo, the horizon is the furthest point you see. If you're in the forest, what is the furthest point you see?
Okay,
Whichever
so
point
this is
is-
what I mean by dishonest.
Timo, stop interrupting, dude.
The furthest
Right,
point
if-
you see, though, because of different reasons. It's not because of a hump of Earth curvature blocking it.
I'm not
It's because
talking
of the
about
limitations of the
distance.
diffraction limit in sight.
Not
It's a
talk-
different explanation as to what's forming the horizon.
I'm not talking about distance. Any measurements, okay? We're going with what we see. So when we look at a cloud, we don't say the cloud is red, black, yellow. We can see that it's white. Now, if it becomes more technical and you say, well, it's not actually white, we can get into that practically. But the premise initially,
You're going with the truth.
Letania, when we go to the beach, when you see the horizon, does it look curved or does it look horizontal to you?
Like I already,
Oh my god.
I already answered this question. So when you look at the cloud, you say it's white, and I'm saying your eyes is not a proper and a reliable measuring tool. So
not
I don't
measuring
care
anything.
about what my eyes see. Okay, I need some
Alright,
way
can
to measure.
I'm new here, guys. Can I interject with a question?
Yeah, sure.
Kimo, based on our personal perspective, if we cannot see something,
Hold on,
does it
hold
exist?
on. How about a
David,
telescope?
David, you're interrupting.
Just a quick question. Based on our own personal perspective, if we cannot see something, does it exist?
Yes.
It does?
If we cannot see something like something a car, yeah.
Are there things that we cannot perceive with our eyes?
What are you talking about?
Can you be certain that everything
Right, look,
can
I'm
be
not playing
judged
these
by
silly
your sight?
games. Okay, this is the
No,
game.
No, we're
This
not
is
playing silly games.
dishonest.
It's an honest question. Don't shut it down.
No,
Let
it's
him
just
ask the question.
dishonesty.
No,
It
that's
is not. Let
that's
him
not
ask
an
the
argument.
question.
Saying something is dishonest based on your perception of something is not exactly an argument.
Well, it's
So the
why,
question
I
is
can tell you
simple.
why. Because
Just
I
what
asked
do
the
you wanna say?
question.
What do you wanna say? Kimo,
Do
let him
things
finish, dude.
exist? Do things exist if we cannot perceive them with our eyes?
No,
It's a simple question.
This wasn't the question. We're on about the
No,
horizon, not our eyes.
wait. I'm not talking about what Tanya is saying. I made an interjection. And because you're talking about what we can perceive personally. So, if we cannot see something, does it exist?
No, this is not the question.
Yeah.
This is not the point. Lemon, you can take the
So
question.
everything has to be personally
I'm going to
observed.
get back to my question after Lemon answers your question.
Someone else will answer my question that is pointed to you.
No, because that's
Yeah.
not what we're talking about. We're talking
Yes,
about...
it is. Yes, it is.
no
It's your
assumptions.
observation. It's your observation of the horizon that is squared or whatever, flat. That's fine. But does that mean that anything that you as Kimo cannot perceive, does it exist or not? Are there things out there in nature, since you've never been deceived by your eyes, that exist even though you cannot see them? Because if you cannot see it, then it surely is not there.
This wasn't the point.
Oh my God.
That's the whole premise of
Can I
your
make a
whole
comment?
discussion.
Can I
No.
make a comment?
It is my word against yours when you're saying I can
ahead,
look
Paul.
at the horizon at the beach and then basically looks flat to me. Okay, and someone else like 10 years says it's, and Scott say that it's curved. That's fine.
Yeah, Scott
But-
is playing silly. Go ahead, Paul, if you want.
Well, I just want to make a comment. Been listening probably for about 30 minutes here. I think there's two different arguments going on. Okay, Kimo is saying you can trust your eyes, which is true. If I don't trust my eyes, I can't drive down the road. I can't do certain things all the time. The other argument that's being made is that your eyes cannot be trusted to make measurement. Those are two different arguments. Kimo's just trying to say, what do you see without any measurement? And that's the only question that is on Kimo's mind. If you're saying that what you see cannot be trusted, then the other argument kicks into play. But that's what Kimo's been saying that for I don't know how long.
Right, that's the
He's
only
not-
thing
he
I'm
doesn't have a
focused
problem.
on.
question.
Yeah, but that's not
We
a
haven't
argument.
answered that question.
Saying that it's something is flat just because you say so.
No, I didn't even say flat. I said, is that horizon curved or does it look horizontal?
But the truth is the answer to that question is going to be dependent upon your elevation, and moreover, depending upon how you think about it. Because if you ask yourselves, what should a curved horizon look like if something is the Earth sized and you're looking at it, well, it should look exactly like what we see. So that would look curved.
Yeah, again, we're
Can I
doing
say
this.
something?
We're doing
Hold on.
this. We're doing this with no assumptions or very few assumptions. And all we're starting with, and I've just said this, if it needs to get more technical afterwards, we can do so.
Yeah.
But we
Kimo.
start with, what do we see? What does it look like?
Kimo, can you
Right,
address
you're not
what
gonna
I
answer
said
my
when?
question, are you?
Can you address what I said when I said it can be curved and horizontal? Do you agree with this?
I've never seen a curved horizon.
Yes, you
You
have.
haven't been looking.
You're not.
You have.
You're not.
Every time you see a horizon, you see a curved horizon, Chemo.
We've shown
Here's
you
the thing,
pictures
though.
of the ones where it's obviously curved.
Here's the thing, though. You guys are, even the on the globe side, you guys are arguing to try to convince Chemo what he's seeing. That's not the argument at the moment.
No, the argument is a matter of perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Let's assume you have this big pool or whatever, and you have these big balls that we play in the pool, and you put a flea on it. What's the flea's perspective on the actual ball based on the curvature? Can the flea see far enough to understand it's on a sphere?
That may be the case. That's
What do you
not.
mean
That's
that-
not. Again, that's not. That's
Again,
not
it's
the
a matter
argument
of perspective. What do you mean that may
Hold
be
on,
the
hold on,
case?
guys,
That's not the
one at a
argument.
time, one at a time. One at a time, one at a time. Hold on.
Hold on. What about this flea? Tell us about it.
David. No,
Dallas, assume you have a huge ball. All right, wait. Dallas, do we agree that there are spherical objects or there are no spherical objects in nature in general?
Look,
Let's forget the Earth. Let's forget the
What's
Earth.
your name?
We're talking about balls.
Kayuga. How do you say your name?
Kayuga.
Kayuga. Look, I get your point. The ant, if he's on the ball, we've got the ball. The ant may see it looks flat. That's with the assumption, right? But I've said here, there's going to be no assumptions. Okay, so the
There
flea,
is no assumption.
the flea will not assume.
You're making an assumption,
If
Kimo.
the flea,
Kimo, yeah.
listen,
Why is it an assumption?
Kayuga. If the
By making
flea,
no assumption, you're making assumptions, Kimo.
if the flea sees a flat horizon, then he will say.
Have you been in the flea's perspective to know what you're talking about, Kimo?
Are you saying you see curve or flat horizon?
Curved is what it looks like.
What will the
I'm saying it's a matter of perspective.
Listen,
so that's why I'm talking
what will
about the
flea
big
see?
ball and the flea.
What?
The
Here you
flea will just see a flat surface in front
right,
of it. He
okay,
cannot perceive the ball.
Okay. So now you've got his friend Flea, yes, telling his flat horizon friend it's not flat, just like you're about to.
Oh.
But I'm saying both Flea's premise is that horizon is flat. You've just said it. That's what the fleas are saying.
But that's the thing. You are a flea. That's what you see
Well, hold
right
it,
now. That doesn't mean it doesn't
slow
exist.
it down. Where's Latinia? Latinia, do you see that? We could have got through this a lot quicker now if you'd have said what he just said, right? Is that we're like the fleas and it looks flat. Yeah?
It also looks curved, though. It looks exactly.
Yeah, it looks curved as well, yeah.
You're dishonest. You lied and
Lied?
That's the truth, you know. Sorry.
This is a childish comeback. How old are you,
If
mate?
you can't distinguish between a curved or a flat space or horizon, then it looks like both. And that's the way it is.
True.
So, Kayuga, look, you just said the flea would see it's flat, yeah? On that basketball.
No, I'm saying the flea cannot perceive the plane where it's on.
But what does it see?
You have to elevate yourself to see it.
Kayuga, what does the flea see?
The horizon it will perceive will obviously be slightly curved, same as us.
Where do we see that curvature at the horizon?
Where did you see the flat one?
Stop this.
Where do you see the flat one?
Don't you ever get tired of this act, Kimo?
That's what I'm trying to say.
It is a circular argument because
you're making this an argument it doesn't need to be. We're going by opinions. No one's made any measurements. I see it and I say it looks horizontal, no curve. You see it, you say no, it looks curved. Yes.
Okay.
Because you can make measurements.
Okay,
Kimo,
so
and find
now
out curve.
we have opinions on the table. How are we going to demonstrate either or?
Because you measure it, Kimo.
Now, Latinia,
I don't think
you're
saying that it's flat. You're just saying that it's not curved.
No, you've just said you look at the horizon and you see curve. No measurements made. You see curve. Same as
Then
me.
you
I
measure
see
chemo
flat,
and
no
find out it's
measurements
curved.
made. Now, how are we going to go about? Because remember, Latenio said it could be an illusion. You can't trust your eyes. So what's the next step now then, Latenio and Cayuga, to verify whether it's curving like you described?
You tell us
measure
what
it
is it to
and
verify
find
that
out
it's
if
flat
a
Earth.
curve.
But
That,
You
that,
you
that was
measure
my
chemo.
question to you. That was my question to you, Kimo. What is your criteria
yeah,
to differentiate
the
between
burden of
somebody?
evidence is on the believer, you know. So tell us, Kimo, how do you perceive that it's definitely flat?
I didn't say
No,
that.
but I don't think he's taking any
I
burden
didn't say
of
it was
evidence.
definitely flat. I said that's
Kimo,
the opinion that it
that's
looks
not my point. Kimo,
horizontal, no measurements made. It looks curved to you, no measurements made. Now,
you have
how are we going to go verifying the next step?
Kimo, it's fine if you don't take any burden. That's fine with me as well. I agree that I am the one with the burden because I claim it's a globe, right? So that's not an issue. But what I want you to do is to give me your method, your epistemic method. How do you go about making knowledge, like acquiring knowledge? What is your method?
So you get to
Because if you only use your
Okay.
eyes, then we're gonna have. It's gonna be easy for me to debunk you because your eyes are deceiving you all the time. Like
Okay.
if you allow me to go into some examples, it's very easy.
But before you go there, I want to say something. Now, I've been hearing this argument that you can't trust your eyes, right? So my eyes are telling me one thing. You're saying I can't trust my eyes. It's not the burden of the proof to me to prove what you're saying. It's on you.
Yeah.
So you're saying I can't trust my eyes. So really, it's irrelevant to what Kimo would want. The burden of proof is on you to say that you cannot predict. Hold on, am I done talking? I said, so it's
Okay.
am I
Yeah,
roboting? Okay.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going.
So the burden of proof is on the one saying that my eyes cannot be trusted.
Yes, I agree.
So
This is why-
don't worry
this
about
is-
what Kimo thinks. Or you
This
present
is
your
why-
evidence.
This
If it's
is
strong
why
enough
I was-
evidence,
he said it
then
like
you accept or reject it.
Hey, Rack, do you ever seen an optical illusion or not?
Okay, so
That's
I
not the
wanted to
argument.
say
It's what he
one
wants to
thing.
Yeah, it is.
Very
That
fucking
is
easy.
exactly the argument.
Very fucking easy. Anybody can trust their eyes. The problem comes in when you try to measure with your eyes. That's a whole different
That's not
thing.
entirely true. It's not just measuring. It's you look. Sometimes you're going to see illusions. You're going to see things that aren't there. Your eyes will deceive you sometimes. So you always have to ask yourself: is this a situation which I'm seeing true, or is this a situation which I'm seeing something false?
Yeah, and the horizon altogether, whenever you see it, wherever you see it from, doesn't matter where you see it from, it's always apparent. So talking about it regarding the shape of the earth is just stupid as fuck.
Why? As a parent, what does that matter?
Because it's apparent, and you try to
Yes,
determine a
so what?
geometric shape
Apparent
from an
means you
apparent thing.
So apparent
But so
means
what?
you see it, right? It appears to be somewhere.
It's,
So
it's
you say,
ludicrous.
so what you're saying is you can't.
It's not ludicrous. So what?
You can't
Yeah,
trust
it is.
anything you see, right? We see the horizon, therefore we
I
can't trust
haven't
it.
said anything. I explicitly
So,
said
hold on.
like 20 seconds ago that yeah, you can trust your eyes, of course, in general, but the problem comes in when you try to apply an apparent thing to a geometrical thing.
What?
Well,
The
first of all,
geometrical
everything is
thing is
apparent.
physical.
Everything
The
is
apparent thing is
Nothing
not
is-
physical.
Yeah, but nothing
Apparent
is in their
means you can
physical
see it,
position.
so you
Hold on,
appear,
Joe.
right?
Hold
Yeah,
on, Joe.
exactly,
Joe, hold on.
exactly. For measurements, we use
Nothing
devices.
you see is in its physical place. Everything you see is in apparent location because everything you see is delayed by time or delayed by
Exactly.
space.
Very good.
Everything.
Very
So,
good. Exactly.
so everything we perceive, it has this phenomenon. So it's hardly an interesting thing to call it apparent, so therefore we can't do anything with it. We know for a fact that we can use what we see as if it's a true physical location, and it works out most of the time.
No, you can't use a photography. That's what I'm talking about. You can't use photography to measure things. And whenever we use the word measure, especially in science, by the way, it means that you use a device that is graded to a level that is accepted and have a consensus about that you can use it for a certain thing.
Not
But
your
your
eyes.
eyes, just by itself, and the camera, just by itself, is nothing that
But who's saying
categorical.
otherwise? But who's saying otherwise?
Well, you are trying to obfuscate about the horizon.
Every human
It's
being that is more than
ludicrous.
10 years old has had the experience of being deceived by his eyes. So that's like
Exactly.
I don't understand the hurdle here.
I'm just trying to say that it's a non-argument, actually. It shouldn't be an argument at all to determine
What's
the
an
shape of the Earth from the horizon. because
Why?
everybody knows it's just an apparent thing, and you do not measure anything from an apparent thing, do you?
Yeah, but if the way it looks distinguishes between two different situations, then you can use that as information, as evidence.
Information for what?
For example, if you increase your elevation and use the theodolite to see that the horizon is dropping, that's going to only happen on a sphere. It's not going to happen on a flat plane.
Why wouldn't it happen?
So if you so why wouldn't it happen? Because in a flat plane, the land is going indefinitely out to a vanishing point, but in a sphere, it's actually dropping because it's curving down.
Oh my god! So you think that just because in the very far away parts, when you look at the horizon, for example, or any kind of tower, we heard about the Blackpool Tower and shit like that. Just because it's very far away, the only explanation could be that the Earth is curving away. Now, my problem with that is that, for example, when you look at buildings, tall buildings, how come they are not curved away from you? How come on the picture they do not have an angle that goes away from you?
They are curved away from you, but they're curved away from you at the correct amount. If you do the math on that, it's not particularly very much.
Oh, but you see the curve itself. You see the curve itself, but not the angle that the building should have.
Well, what you see is the obfuscation from the curve. You don't see the actual curving away. You see the fact that you can't see any farther. The building leans away from you, but it leans away from you at like 1 degree every 69 miles. It's pretty low. It's not a lot.
Can I ask the question real quick?
When you see the curve on a picture, like the horizon is curving on the sides. That's what you
left to
usually
right,
see.
yeah.
On the very sides, it usually curves a little bit, very little bit, but it curves.
Yeah.
That you can see, but you cannot see the buildings also curving away.
Well, these are two fundamentally different things.
No, those are the same. The plane, according to you, actually,
no, because
the
in one
physical
case
plane is curving.
Think about it. In one case, you only have one axis of view. The other case, you're looking at it you're turning it 90 degrees. It's like saying, just think about all the different ways in which turning something 90 degrees will give you a different perspective on what it looks like. The truth is, though, when you look at left-right curvature, most of the time it's not actually curvature. I think it's just anyway. It gets complicated. What were you gonna? Someone's gonna ask questions on Chase's topic or something?
Yeah, that's me, Paul.
Thank
question
you.
about your observation. Your observation about the horizon drop. How do you know that's not an optical illusion?
I don't know for sure. And that's why, by the way, that nothing is absolutely certain, right? What we have to do is gather tons of evidence and then see where all the evidence points. But one way that you can start to have confidence that it's not an optical illusion is the fact that if we take, say, what we're told is the size of the Earth, right? We can do a priori predictions about, okay, well, this means that if I'm at 400 feet, the horizon should drop by this many degrees. Now, if I'm at 800 feet, and then if we go and we check and we see that everywhere we go in terms of our elevation, we get the expected drop. It might be a coincidence. It might be a crazy illusion, but we start to have more and more confidence that they were seeing something that's actually related to the physical shape.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Your own argument said that you can't trust your eyes. But according to the heliocentric model, they use an optical visual thing to determine the circumference of the Earth. Al Barini going up onto a mountain, looking out of the horizon. But your own argument, so technically that's not a measurement. You're making an observation. And you just established that an observation cannot be trusted. Your eyes cannot be trusted. So you just
Well, using a theodolite in that case.
Oh, is it an observation?
Yeah, it's a tool that you use to make an observation. Yeah, it's a measuring tool.
Okay, so it's back to observation. How do you know what you're seeing through the eyepiece on a theodolite is not an optical illusion?
Well, like I said, you don't. I mean, that's one of the problems is you can't guarantee that what you're seeing is an illusion. But when it matches predictions very well, and when it continues to match them over multiple days and multiple readings, and people replicate the results, that's when you start to get confidence in it. But you'll never be certain. Right? Theoretically, it's possible.
Your confidence that your mechanical apparatus that's using observation or your observation of the horizon dropping is accurate, but you're not sure if it's an optical illusion or not. But you're absolutely certain.
No, you're not absolutely. You're never absolutely certain. That's what I just said. You're never absolutely certain. Okay, is that clear?
Okay.
So you always have some chance that it's an optical illusion, like you're saying. So what you want to do though is you do all these things to increase your confidence, so that you can get more and more confident that it's good. But you'll never be absolutely certain. Anyone that tells you that, I think, is not thinking it through.
Okay, so
Well,
more observations. So you keep doing more observations to confirm your observations.
Yeah, like if you replicate the same observation over and over different conditions and different places and different spots, isn't that something that would give you more and more confidence that you're getting it right?
No,
I don't know. It's an optical illusion
Neither
as far as I
of the
know at
time.
this point.
So
Well, but I mean, it would have to be an optical illusion in every place that you ever go, on every condition that you're ever in, always matching the prediction that you have for the globe. It starts to be quite a coincidental optical illusion, right?
Does Kimo agree with you?
It's the same. It's the same optical illusion. It just happens again, and again. That's all.
It's
It
possible.
is
It's definitely in the realm
the
of possibility.
same
That's what I'm saying.
apparent thing. Have
Yes,
you
and if you can make
realized,
that, if you can make
Scott,
that, you can. Yeah,
that
but if you can make that
you
argument,
agreed
then you
that
make
it's
that
apparent
argument.
thing?
But yes, but if you can make that argument, you can make that argument. But you can't necessarily do that, and that's always a possibility. The truth is, when you go and do this, you're going to get different readings all the time.
Always a
And
possibility
then
for
what you're going to end up doing is averaging those readings, and those averaging readings are going to match your predictions.
No, there is no reading.
Yeah, there is. When
That's
you do a
what I'm
theodolite, you
talking
take a
about.
reading.
There is no measurement. You do not measure.
You use a theodolite,
apparent
you get a
things.
measurement.
You do
course you
not
can.
measure apparent things.
Of course you can. You can look at where it appears to be and measure where it is.
Then you are measuring.
So if I look at the
an
horizon,
imaginary
if I look at the
thing.
horizon, I can measure the
That's what
drop
you
with the
measure.
theodolite. But listen, what's up? If I can look at the horizon, I can measure the drop with a theodolite, and I'm measuring the drop of the apparent, what things I'm looking at.
You are not
That's certainly
measuring the
possible,
drop.
right?
You are measuring the apparent drop. A huge
Yes,
difference.
the apparent drop, the drop to the apparent horizon. That's a measurement you can take,
Then it's not
right?
physical, mate.
All right.
But that's not what we
Just-
said. A second ago, you said you can't take a measurement, but we can take a measurement.
Just are you two globe earthers
No
discussing this now?
measurement is regarding physical
He's not a globe earther, he's
things.
a flat earther.
Always.
What's up, your flat earther?
Yeah, he's a flat earther.
No. You always
Yes, you are.
measure
He's a globe
physical
denier.
things,
He's a globe
not
denier.
apparent things.
What is your point, though? Why do you think apparent is such a dirty word?
Exactly
Everything is
what I
apparent.
said.
Remember, we already agreed on that. Everything
Yes,
is apparent.
So the criteria. So I didn't know. What's up? Can you
Yeah, that's
confirm
why
you're
we
not a globe
use
earther?
devices that, for example, a ruler. Does a ruler have a lens that you have to watch through?
No,
And
just your eyes.
whatever you want.
No, just your eyes.
No. That's not how a ruler works.
So I just said no. It doesn't lens. You just use your eyes for a ruler.
That's a device that you can use objectively.
But it's still apparent.
But a
It's still
theodolite,
apparent, dude.
especially over that kind of distance that you are trying to say about, like 20,
It's
30,
the same
40
thing.
miles. That's
It's all apparent, first of all.
theodolite and the
If you
ruler.
think if you have a problem with the parent, you have a problem with the ruler too. I mean, is the ruler not
wow.
apparent? Is it
Oh,
not?
wow.
Is it
Okay.
not?
It's
You don't know the
obviously
answer,
what
huh?
you are doing right now, and it doesn't
No,
work.
it's,
very well,
you already
so-
agreed. You already agreed earlier that everything is apparent. I remember you saying that.
Yeah, of
I mean, did you
course,
not
that's
agree
what
with
I
that?
said, but I also said that we don't measure apparent things. That's what I said also.
Okay, but if everything is apparent, then those two things, what you just said together, mean
No,
we
this
can't
is
measure anything. So
sophisticated what you
I
are
think you're
doing
wrong
right
about the
now,
second
because
one.
we have
We measure.
devices
Hold
that
on,
do
what's up? Hold
that
on,
do-
what's up? What's up? Hold
okay,
on, you have to stop interrupting. So you said two things. You said everything is apparent, and we can't measure to apparent things. And I think the mistake you're making is the second one. Everything is apparent, and we can measure to apparent things.
Oh my god! Again, the device does the measurement for you.
I'm not sure what that means. I mean, you use the device to take a measurement.
Again,
If I
the
can
device
jump in and try to make
Yep.
the
does the
conversation
measurement
progress.
for
Go
you.
Go ahead.
No, neither of you guys are talking about epistemology. Like, you need to bring on the table another criteria, another method, besides measuring apparent or real. You need to bring the method through which you reach knowledge, right? So for the scientific method, it's prediction. You make predictions, and if your apparent
No, I do not
measurements.
make predictions. We are just measuring.
Hey,
The measuring is
what's
not
up?
about
Let him finish.
predictions. The
What's
measuring
up?
is
Let him
measuring.
finish. Let him finish. What's up? Let him finish. Okay.
He did.
Do you disagree with this?
No, he
What's up? What I said?
Yeah, because what you said that didn't make any fucking sense, by the way. Can you repeat it?
Yes. In the scientific method, it doesn't stop any possible knowledge because you can't trust
That's not
your
what you
eyes.
said before.
Yes,
What's
yes.
up? Stop interrupting him, please.
I'm coming to it. So the scientific method doesn't stop short because you cannot trust what your eyes can see. You make predictions, and you can see how false you are in your predictions. That's when you know you're wrong, right? It's just an indication that you're wrong. If
Sorry,
every prediction.
Okay.
No, I was finished.
Yeah, okay. So the scientific method is not what we were talking about. We were talking about measurement, and for that you use devices. Now, the scientific method is based upon experiments or observations that supposedly try to prove or make an evidence for a claim that we usually call a theory or a thesis.
Yes.
Now, those are not things that we measure. We are talking about measuring
Yes,
the
I was
actual
trying.
curve of the Earth.
I was trying to make the conversation go along because you were going in circle. So I kind of changed the subject. I'm aware of it.
Yeah, that you're right about that, by the way. Yeah.
Right. So sorry about that.
No. That's fine.
Right. So this is how you grow out of this hurdle and this circular thing. You say, okay, we use predictions. You make an epistemic step forward, right? Because otherwise, you read Democritus. Democritus, 500 years before the Common Era, he was already saying that the foundation for knowledge and empiricism is undermined by the fact that you can be deceived by your own senses. Right? That's 2,500 years old. So
that's philosophy.
We've progressed from that since then.
That's trying to be philosophical within the scientific field, and it doesn't fucking work. Because if we have that kind of thinking, then we shouldn't be talking at all, because nothing makes any sense, right? So don't talk about that kind of shit, because it doesn't make any sense.
But the scientific method is philosophy.
About is measuring things. But we can talk about is measuring things. And Weech is trying to measure with his eyes over a huge fucking distance with a device that is within the manual of the device. It's written that you shouldn't use it only up to a certain, and it's given in meters,
That's
by
not
the way,
true.
a few hundred meters.
That's not true. You're talking about dynamic range finding.
That's fucking true. I showed you yesterday, by the way. And
I wasn't here. I don't know what you're referring to, but a theodolite can be used for long distances. Absolutely can. You probably don't know what it is. For measuring drop.
Measuring? Huh.
Yes. What's your problem? Like, are you confused again already?
I mean, what is it? Don't they have these apps?
No, you're not allowed to measure anything if it proves
yesterday.
Something.
Just by looking at you?
Do you know what a theodolite is? What's up? I didn't talk to you yesterday about this stuff.
I even showed you one yesterday, and
you didn't show me. I wasn't here. I don't know what you're talking about. We did not have this conversation yesterday, so you're thinking of somebody else. No, I don't. You did not show me a theodolite, dude. I was not here when that happened.
Yeah, what's up? You were not on with Scott at that time.
Yeah, what are you talking about, dude?
I wasn't here. You just said Weech wasn't
here. No, Scott was not here when you made this argument.
What was the argument?
Do you want to tell him, or you want to just avoid it?
Yeah, what was the argument?
No, I'm searching it back. I posted it yesterday.
Okay, whatever. In any event, a theodolite can be used to do this kind of thing. It's not a problem.
Use it for what again?
For measuring an angle. I mean, all it really does is give you what level is, and then you can use that to see what the angle of the degrees, number of degrees below that is the horizon. So you're just measuring that little angle right there.
An angle of what?
The angle between where level would be.
Thing.
Yes, you're measuring to the apparent horizon.
And it only works up to a certain distance.
That's
not true. That part is false. I'm not sure what you're referring to like that.
Wow.
I'm not sure where that part is not true.
Okay.
Well, why don't you make an argument for why it's true then, if you think it's true? Yeah,
I'm not making an argument for you.
You don't have a position at all. You're just saying that, but you're just wrong about it.
I just showed you
what would be
like
hard
you can lie about it? It's in the chat.
Okay, let's see. I'll take a look. Where is it?
Yeah, then sleep. Where? Please show it to me. It's in the debate chat, I think.
Oh, I see. I got it.
Yeah, debate chat box. Yeah.
Yeah, let me read it.
Slit or slat.
That is not for the optics.
Please show me.
This is a long range laser finder, dude. This is fundamentally different. It's not, you can't use the laser finder at that kind of distance, but you can use the angle dip thing.
What is
so
it?
This thing is a long range. This long range alignment laser. That laser is going to not work at any distance. Okay, you can have a limited distance for that laser.
This is a digital theodolite.
Yes, but the thing that keeps it from working at any distance is the laser.
Why are you lying like that? Do you think that people
I'm not
are
lying. What do you
right
do? You
now?
not understand what I'm saying? What do you not understand what I'm saying? The method in which I described doesn't use a laser. Okay?
It's a theodolite.
So do you understand then?
Fucking
yes,
digital
but there's more than one kind of theodolite, dude. There's more than one kind.
That's not. But you didn't say it was a theodolite. You were trying to say that it's a laser. What the fuck? No, it has a laser.
No, I was saying it was a theodolite.
For more precision, by the way. For more precision, that's why it has a laser.
For the distances it'll work at, but a laser is going to get diffused. It's not going to go very.
What's written there?
I don't know. Where does it say the thing you want to say? I'm reading it as I go, but where's the thing
line and grade applications in good condition, by the way. You could use it up to 2,000 feet or about 600.
Okay, so this is also not a line or graded application.
Oh my fuck.
Well, it isn't, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It's like you don't seem to be clear on these things. So the theodolite I'm talking about is the kind that you can build yourself, right? It's literally just a way of checking what the theodolite is the kind that you can build yourself. So it's literally just a way of creating where eye level would be, and then a way of measuring how much.
I certainly wouldn't buy any theodolite that you built. That's for fucking sure.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to. Oh my gosh, you're so weird. So you can build it yourself for yourself, and then all you're really doing is taking where level is or where eye level is, and then measuring the angle that drips down to where the apparent horizon is. Now that doesn't require a laser. That doesn't require any kind of thing that's going to not work over distance. It just requires you to be able to
spot. By the way.
You're able to spot and then measure that angle difference.
Yeah, you're right about that. But every auto level and theodolite, by the way, has a certain distance in which over the distance it won't work.
Oh, hey, we're back to where we need a citation. We're back to where we need a citation for that. Hold on. We're back to where we are back to where you need a citation for where there's a distance, or where you have a citation for where the distance is limited on a theodolite. Go.
For measuring, that's what I said. You cut it in. I said for measuring, it's limited.
For the theodolite, for the next time, once again, for a theodolite, where is the distance limited on it?
Oh my god. No. This is called sophistry. When you try to twist what I said. And I'm not going into that kind of game.
It's not called sophistry when I'm calling out it's not called sophistry when I'm calling out a claim that you make that you can't back up.
Everybody heard that I didn't make any claim like what you're just trying to.
Oh, you're a sophist.
Yes, you did. What you said was a theodolite has a maximum distance for which you can make measurements. Now you need to bring a citation that backs up that claim.
I already did.
No, you didn't. What you brought so far and from the other day was that you could find a laser rangefinder on a theodolite that had a maximum distance. I need you to bring a citation that says a theodolite itself, the optical instrument, has a maximum distance. Go.
By the way, the quote that you gave.
7 billion light years.
Hold on. The quote that you gave, what's up? The thing that you left out is the part very in front of it, which reads: atmospheric conditions can reduce the working range of the laser by distorting and/or apparently enlarging the laser spot at distance, which is the problem. So it's only referring to the laser when it says it has this limited distance. The light I'm describing doesn't use a laser.
Well, it doesn't use nothing.
Yes, it does. It just doesn't use a laser. It's pretty straightforward.
It's not very accurate.
Yeah,
only by your assertion. So what we have is a theodolite, a thing that can measure angles. It doesn't have a limited range for measuring those angles. despite what people seem to want to claim.
I thought we sorted this all out yesterday when we actually sort of showed people statistics and manufacturers' details. We talked about different levels of surveying and the accuracy tolerances for them.
We all know that flat earthers don't learn because they can't, because they can only learn from other flat earthers.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you only use lasers over very short distances because the